Yep, I'd say it's been a minute. How's it going, everyone? Nizam45 here with another Star Trek Online tutorial. Recently, I've been getting quite a few messages about that I should do another update to my energy weapon tutorial I made back in September of 2014. There have been quite a few new energy types added to the game since that video. By popular demand, let's take a look at all the current energy types available in Star Trek Online. New energy types and special one-off weapons are a favorite go-to for the developers these days, so this video will no doubt be out of date within a month or two at most. So, the same preface I used it last time applies to this video as well. While all the information I'll be presenting will remain the same for future use, the list will no doubt grow as the game carries on. Currently, there are about 49 different energy types for weapons in Star Trek Online, some almost identical to others, while most being vastly different with a wide array of varying abilities. I won't go into extreme depth in detail, as proc modifiers can vary per upgrading and rarity. If I did, believe me, we'd be here for days. Instead, I'll be giving a brief overview of each weapon's type's ability and how to obtain them, along with useful tidbits and other information if it applies. Just to clarify, there are only 6 types of base energy weapons in Star Trek Online, meaning that below each base, all subtypes and hybrids listed fall under and are affected by boosting consoles of that base type. The graph I'll expand upon in this video will show what falls under each type and category. To start off, we'll focus on the most basic energy type and its subtypes and hybrids that I'm sure most players and Star Trek fans in general are very familiar with. Phasers. So, first off are old basic phasers. This is the starting energy type for all Federation characters in the game. When fired, phasers have a 2.5% chance to disable a single random subsystem for 5 seconds on target. This energy type is probably the most widely available and is common to just pick up about anywhere, including the exchange, crafting, stores in general. It even comes pre-equipped in common qualities on almost any Zen Store Federation ship. Next, we have Andorian phasers. So, what's so special about this type? Pretty much nothing. It's like those old toys we used to get when we were kids because it was a different color than the last one, despite it being the exact same toy. Same principle applies here. Andorian phasers are exactly the same, and I mean exactly the same as normal phasers. The only difference is they're blue instead of orange. This energy type is only available after purchasing at least one of the Andorian escorts from the Zen Store. Common quality versions of this energy type come pre-equipped on any Andorian escort, but can also be purchased from the Dilithium Store or Fleet Provision stores from a fleet with a Tier 2 industrial fabricator. An interesting fact about Andorian phasers is the weapon type is also available on the Andorian Light Escort, a level 1 version of the Kamari Escort, which is only obtainable via the Hero of the North Founders Pack for Neverwinter. Unlocking this ship, however, does not unlock the ability to purchase further Andorian phasers. Now, remember when I said how Andorian phasers were the exact same as normal phasers except for their color? Well, guess what retrofit phasers are? That's right, another colored variation from normal phasers with the exact same ability. This energy type is available both from Mission Replay of Everything Old is New, and comes pre-equipped in a levelless version of the TOS Constitution from the Zen Store. This energy type is only available in beam array form, and also comes pre-equipped with an innate 2% extra critical chance. An interesting fact about this energy type, these beam arrays were once only available in 2 types, fore and aft versions only equipable on single sides of your ship. This feature has thankfully since been removed not long ago. Okay, now moving on to something that's actually different than its base type, we have Agony phasers. This energy type comes in all standard weapon types, including omnidirectional beam arrays. Agony phasers have a 2.5% chance when fired to disable an enemy for 2.5 seconds, along with doing additional shield-penetrating phaser damage for 15 seconds. This proc can only be triggered once every 10 seconds. This energy type is available via the exchange and special equipment packs from the Mirror Incursion Lockbox. Next, we have biomolecular phasers. This energy type, when fired, has a 2.5% chance to apply the debuff Biomolecular Incubation upon an enemy. Biomolecular Incubation debuffs the enemy's flight speed by 16.7 for 8 seconds, and upon expiration also applies an amount of radiation damage. Along with this proc, biomolecular phasers also have the base abilities of normal phasers, with a 2.5% chance to disable a single random subsystem for 5 seconds. This energy type is obtainable for purchase from the 8472 Counter Command Reputation Store for 22,500 dilithium, and is occasionally obtainable from Undyne Equipment Requisition Packs from the same reputation. Next we have Elite Fleet Phasers. This energy type, when fired, has the same ability as normal phasers, but also with an additional proc of a 2.5% chance to regenerate a portion of your shields when successfully fired at an enemy. This energy type is only obtainable for purchase from Federation Fleet Provision Stores from a fleet with a Tier 5 Industrial Replicator. Prices for this energy type vary depending on fleet dilithium discounts. Next we have Phased Biomatter. This energy type, when fired, has a 2.5% chance to create a 1 km radius wide or 2 km wide explosion on impact, dealing phaser damage, which will be split among up to 4 enemies within the area, dealing less damage per target affected. This energy type is obtainable via the exchange and special equipment packs from the Xindi Amphibious Lockbox. Last, for phaser subtypes, we have Quantum Phase. This energy type, when fired, has the same base ability of phasers by disabling a random subsystem, along with the added abilities of a 2.5% chance to drain an amount of an enemy's shields, restoring your own shields in the process, along with an innate 2% extra critical chance and 20% extra critical severity. This energy type is unique and can only be obtained via episode replay of the mission Sunrise, and only comes in single beam array and dual heavy cannon form, both of which can be equipped once per ship. Now that we have our first energy type out of the way, we'll talk about disruptors next and its subtypes. Disruptors are the most wildly variant energy type in the game, with a total of 11 different types to its base. To start off, we have Basic Disruptors, the starting energy type for all KDF faction characters. This energy type, when fired, has a 2.5% chance to reduce the target's damage resistance to all damage by 10 for 15 seconds. Disruptors are common to pick up just about anywhere, including the exchange, crafting, and some stores in general. It also comes pre-equipped in common qualities on almost any Zen Store KDF ship in most cases. For our first disruptor subtype, we have Plasma Disruptor Hybrid. This energy type, when fired, lives up to its name by having the dual chances of a 2.5% chance each of applying the basic disruptor damage resistance debuff, but also Plasma's chance of applying an amount of plasma damage over time to the target. We'll talk more about plasma energy types later though. This energy type is only available in beam array form, obtainable from episode replay of the mission Past Imperfect for Federation players, Second Star to the Right Straight On Till Morning for KDF faction players, and Smash and Grab for Romulan players. Next we have Polarized Disruptor. As you may have guessed already, this energy type is similar to the previously mentioned in the sense that it shares an ability with another energy type. Along with the basic disruptor damage debuff, Polarized Disruptors also have a 2.5% chance to remove 25 power from all power subsystems of a target, the same base ability as Polaron. We'll talk more about Polaron energy types later though. This energy type is obtainable from the exchange and special equipment packs from the Temporal Lockbox. Next we have Spiral Wave Disruptors. This energy type is possibly the most difficult to obtain in the game, as similar as in Enduring Phasers mentioned before, Spiral Wave Disruptors are only obtainable for use after purchasing a Cardassian Galar-class cruiser on your character. Per character. The Galar-class cruiser is only obtainable from the Cardassian Lockbox or the Cardassian Lockbox Gold version, both of which are currently retired. Current prices for the ship on the exchange at the time of making this video are around 330 million to 750 million EC each. This type is a special hybrid in the fact that it has dual abilities of both Disruptor Damage Debuff and Phaser's Subsystem Disabling proc, along with an additional 20% bonus accuracy. Once the ship is obtained, additional beam arrays of this type can be purchased from the Dilithium store. Next we have Biomolecular Disruptors. Wait a minute, Biomolecular... Didn't we already cover this like 5 types ago? If that's what you're thinking, you'd be absolutely correct. Biomolecular Disruptors and Biomolecular Phasers are the exact same in every sense, except their base type, one being Phaser and one being Disruptor. Biomolecular Disruptors still have the chance for Biomolecular Incubation debuff, but instead of Phaser's ability as well, have the Disruptor Damage debuff ability in its place. Biomolecular disruptors are obtainable or purchased from the 8472 Counter Command Reputation Store for 22,500 dilithium each, and is occasionally obtainable from the Undyne Equipment Requisition Packs from the same reputation. Next we have Coalition Disruptors. This energy type, when fired, has a 2.5% chance to apply a negative 20 disruptor damage resistance rating to a target for 20 seconds. This debuff can be applied up to 5 times while active, adding up to a total of a negative 100 disruptor damage resistance. Coalition disruptors are obtainable via the exchange as well as special equipment packs from the Year of Hell lockbox. Next we have my personal favorite of disruptor subtypes, Elachi Crescent. This energy type, when fired, has a 2.5% chance to ignore 100% of a target's shields and 50% of target's damage resistance. This ability can only occur once every 5 seconds. Elachi Crescent disruptors are obtainable via the exchange as well as special equipment packs from the Elachi lockbox. Next we have Elite Fleet Disruptors. Unlike Elite Fleet Phasers, this energy type has the base disruptor damage debuff, along with a 2.5% chance to increase damage to target's shields by 25% for 10 seconds. This energy type is only available for purchase from a KDF Factioned Fleet Provision store from a fleet with a Tier 5 Industrial Replicator. Prices for this energy type vary depending on fleet dilithium discounts. Next we have Nanite Disruptors. This energy type, when fired, has a 2.5% chance to negate 5 damage resistance and increase shield bleed through of a target by 2% for 15 seconds. Nanite Disruptors are obtainable via the exchange as well as special equipment packs from the Tal Shiar lockbox. Next we have Resonant Disruptors. This energy type, when fired, has a 2.5% chance to apply the Resonant Disruptor Wave debuff. When applied, Resonant Disruptor Wave will cause a 2 km radius wide, or 4 km wide, explosion on the target, dealing 100% of its damage through shields, along with applying a negative 10 damage debuff for 8 seconds, and increasing shield damage by 15% for all energy types for 8 seconds. The last portion, however, is only unlocked when using the 2-part set of the Preserver Resonant Technology set. This energy type also comes with an innate 4% bonus critical chance and a bonus 20% or 30% critical severity, depending on the weapon type used. Resonant Disruptor weapons are unique and are only obtainable once per character in both single beam array and dual heavy cannon forms, both of which are obtainable via the episode replay of the mission Blood of Ancients. And lastly, for disruptor types, we have Withering Disruptors. When fired, this energy type has a 2.5% chance to apply a stack of the debuff Withering Radiation to a target. Each stack of this debuff does an amount of radiation damage for 60 seconds, up to 5 stacks. Withering Disruptor energy types are obtainable for purchase from the Terran Task Force Reputation Store for dilithium, and is occasionally obtainable from the Terran Task Force Equipment Requisition Packs from the same reputation. Alrighty, now that we've discussed all the types and subtypes of disruptors, let's move on to our next type on the list, and my personal favorite, Tetragon! First and foremost, we have Basic Tetragon. Unlike phasers or disruptors, Tetragon is not a starting energy type for any faction in the game. Well, unless you count Tholians, I guess. The spiders get all the cool stuff anyway. Anyway, when fired, Basic Tetragon has a 2.5% chance to do additional damage to a target's shields. This amount varies depending on your item mark and your Starship Flow Capacitor skill. Which, actually, now that I realize I don't know what the skill is in the new skill system, I wrote this script long before the new skill system ever happened. Basic Tetragon weapons are available from crafting, the exchange, as well as a few select pre-arranged ships. For our first subtype of Tetragon, we have Phased Tetragon. Judging by the name, you may have already guessed, this energy type derives its abilities as a hybrid of Basic Tetragon and Basic Phasers, meaning alongside the shield damage bonus of Tetragon, this type also has the dual chance of subsystem disabling of Phasers. Phased Tetragon weapons are obtainable via the exchange as well as special equipment packs from the Tholian lockbox. Next we have Destabilizing Tetragon. This energy type, when fired, has a similar, yet slightly different ability than Basic Tetragon. Instead of doing a base amount of damage when it procs, Destabilizing Tetragon has a 2.5% chance to apply a shield draining DOT for 15 seconds. Destabilizing Tetragon weapons are available on the exchange as well as special equipment packs from the Hydrogen lockbox. Next we have Refracting Tetragon. This energy type, when fired, has basic Tetragon shield damage along with the added ability of a 2.5% chance to do bonus Tetragon damage to the nearest target, refracting off its initial target. Refracting tetragon energy types are attainable for purchase from the Nakura Strikeforce Reputation Store for dilithium and is occasionally obtainable for the Nakura Strikeforce Equipment Requisition Packs from the same reputation. Next we have polarized tetragon. Now, unlike what you might think, this is actually not, in fact, a hybrid between tetragon and polaron, but essentially a basic tetragon energy type on crack. This energy type is confusing, however. Initially, this type of tetragon used to have the innate ability of a 10% chance to do bonus damage to shields, meaning this was 4 times as powerful as basic tetragon. However, in January of 2015, this type was changed to be called Resonating Tetragon, and its proc nerfed hard from 10% to 5%. Still, however, this energy type is not unique and can be obtained as many times as the player wants via episode replay of the new link. Next, we have antiproton infused tetragon. When fired, this special energy type has a 2.5% chance to do tetragon damage through the target's shields and double damage against heralds, while also piercing their resistance as well, along with an innate 10% or 20% bonus accuracy depending on the weapon type used. Antiproton infused tetragon is only available in either omnidirectional beam array or turret forms from the episode replay of Butterfly. Lastly, for tetragon subtypes, we have piercing tetragon. When fired, this energy type has a base ability of tetragon's bonus shield damage, but also has another 2.5% chance for the attack to ignore 50% of the target's shields. This energy type is only available in dual beam bank, turret, and dual cannon form from episode replay of the mission Installation 18. Okay, so next on our list is antiproton. Oddly enough, despite this being one of the more popular energy types in the game these days, along with plasma, which we'll discuss soon as well, both antiproton and plasma are the least varied types in Star Trek Online. To start off, we have antiproton itself. This base energy type has no special ability in itself, but instead boasts on a 20 critical severity bonus whenever landing a critical hit on a target. Antiproton used to be highly sought after, only available via a few select sources. Nowadays, however, it's widely used and as common as any other type, obtainable from crafting, the exchange, and a few select prearranged ships. Our first antiproton subtype is actually what some would think an entirely different energy type in itself. Chronoton. Chronoton, although named differently, actually falls under the antiproton category subtype because it is affected and enhanced by antiproton boosting consoles. Chronoton's energy type's base ability is similar to the Chronoton torpedo's ability, with a 2.5% to significantly reduce a target's flight speed and turn rate, along with an added 40% critical severity bonus. Currently, there is only one weapon in the game that uses Chronoton energy, and that being the dual beam bank available from the Lobi store for 200 Lobi crystals. Next we have Herald Antiproton. This energy type, when fired, has a 2.5% chance to buff yourself with an extra 7% energy damage bonus for 20 seconds, which can stack up to 3 times. Herald Antiproton weapons are obtainable via the exchange as well as special equipment packs from the Herald Lockbox. Next we have my favorite looking antiproton subtype, Fluidic Antiproton. This energy type, when fired, has a 2.5% chance to repel a target away, as well as do an amount of physical damage with full shield penetration. Fluidic antiproton weapons are obtainable via the exchange as well as special equipment packs from the Undyne Lockbox. I mean, they look like you're firing lava from your beams. How cool is that? Next, we have Radiant Antiproton. This energy type, when fired, has a 2.5% chance to apply a 1000 temporary hit point buff to yourself for 15 seconds, and can stack up to 5 times. Radiant Antiproton energy types are obtainable for purchase from the Iconian Resistance Reputation Store for dilithium, and is occasionally obtainable from the Iconian Resistance Equipment Requisition Packs from the same reputation. And last, for antiproton subtypes, we have Voth Antiproton. This energy type, when fired, has a 25% chance on a critical strike to reduce the target's damage output by 9.1% for 10 seconds. Voth Antiproton weapons are obtainable via the exchange as well as equipment packs from the Voth Lockbox. That's about it for Antiproton, actually. Not many variants, sadly, though I'm sure that'll change in updates to come. In the meantime, let's go up to another fan favorite, Plasma, and its subtypes. First off, we have Basic Plasma, the starting energy type for all Romulan players. When fired, this energy type has a 2.5% chance to cause a non-stacking plasma fire to the target via a DOT effect. This energy type is moderately available and is common to pick up at places such as the Exchange, Crafting, and a few stores. It also comes pre-equipped in common qualities on any Zen Store Romulan ship in most cases. For our first plasma subtype, we have Romulan plasma, the favorite of all plasmas for a lot of players. This energy type, when fired, has a mixed hybrid ability of a dual 2.5% chances of disruptor damage resistance debuff and the basic plasma fire DOT. Hold up. Didn't we hear something like this before? That's right, near the beginning of our discussion of disruptor energy types, we spoke about the plasma disruptor hybrid energy type, which is in fact a mirror replica of Romulan plasma in every aspect, only under a different type and rarity. Romulan plasma energy types are obtainable for purchase from the New Romulus Reputation Store for dilithium, and it is occasionally obtainable from New Romulus equipment requisition packs from the same reputation. Next, we have a strikingly similar energy type which I felt appropriate to mention, that being experimental Romulan plasma. This energy type is the same as normal Romulan plasma, only slightly more powerful in its abilities. For example, its 2.5% disruptor damage debuff removes 10.8 instead of just 10 damage resistance from a target. Experimental Romulan plasma also comes with an innate extra 6% critical chance and no weapons power cost when fired. The sole weapon this energy type comes in is obtainable for purchase from the New Romulus Reputation for 30,000 energy credits, 15,000 dilithium, and 500 Romulan marks. Next, we have caustic plasma. This energy type, when fired, acts exactly the same as basic plasma, only far more potent. Caustic plasma's 2.5% chance for a plasma fire DOT burns twice as fast for a total of 7.5 seconds, completely ignoring shields with a bonus innate accuracy of 20%. This energy type, while not unique, is obtainable only to Romulan players via episode replay of the mission Last Stand. Next, we have corrosive plasma. This energy type, when fired, has a 2.5% chance to apply a damage resistance debuff starting at -1 up to -20, progressively getting more potent over the course of 20 seconds. Corrosive plasma also has the base plasma fire DOT ability. This energy type can be obtainable via the exchange as well as special equipment packs from the Delta Expedition Lockbox. Next, we have plasmatic biomatter. This energy type, when fired, has a 2.5% chance to create a 1 km radius or 2 km wide explosion of plasma damage DOT for 10 seconds, ignoring shields and reducing the target's flight speed by 50% for 10 seconds as well. Plasmatic biomatter weapons are obtainable via the exchange as well as special equipment packs from the Xindi Terrestrial Lockbox. Last for our plasma subtypes, we have chronoplasma. This energy type, when fired, has a dual chances of a basic plasma's DOT for 10 seconds, ignoring shields, along with a 2.5% chance to reduce flight speed of a target by 33% for 10 seconds. Chronoplasma weapons are obtainable via the exchange as well as special equipment packs from the Nakul Lockbox. And lastly, for base energy types, we have everyone's favorite grape jelly beams, Polaron! And as everyone knows, jelly comes in multiple flavors, of course, and in Star Trek Online's case, that's a total of 7 different flavored energy types. To start off, for our culinary energy types, we have basic Polarons. This jelly, when fired, has a 2.5% chance to lower all power levels of a target by 25 points. This is one of the reasons Polaron and hybrids mentioned earlier that share its abilities are often used in drain builds. This energy type is common to pick up at places such as the exchange and crafting. It also comes pre-equipped in common qualities on certain special requisition ships. Next, we have Dominion Polaron, the Ketracel white flavored jelly. No, in all seriousness, this is actually what you probably thought polarized Tetragon was earlier. Dominion Polaron, when fired, has a 2.5% chance of both Polaron's base power drain ability and Tetragon's base bonus shield damage ability. All versions of this energy type currently available also come with an innate bonus 2 critical chance rating and are obtainable via episode replay of the mission Boldly They Rode. Scarlet here. Next, we have Phased Polaron, the low-fat grape-flavored jelly. This energy type, when fired, has, you guessed it, the dual 2.5% chances of both Polaron's base power drain ability and Phaser's base chance to disable a random subsystem for a target for 5 seconds. Phased Polaron weapons are obtainable via the exchange as well as special equipment packs from the Dominion Lockbox. Next, we have Protonic Polaron. When fired, this energy type has base Polaron's chance of power drain, but also has a 25% chance on a critical strike to deal special proton damage, ignoring shields completely. This special proton damage is doubled when applied towards Voth enemies. Now you may be asking, what is proton damage? Another energy type? Well, I'll discuss that in a moment. Protonic Polaron energy types are obtainable for purchase from the Dyson Joint Command Reputation Store for dilithium, and is occasionally obtainable from Dyson Joint Command equipment requisition packs from the same reputation. Next, we have Chronometric Polaron. This energy type, when fired, has a 2.5% chance to increase shield penetration of your weapons by 15% for a time. This energy type is unique and only comes in forms of single beam array, dual heavy cannons, turrets, and omnidirectional beam arrays, and is obtainable via episode replay of the mission Time and Tide. Next we have Thoron-infused Polaron. This energy type, when fired, has a 2.5% chance to apply the debuff Unstable Thoron Radiation to the target. When applied, Unstable Thoron Radiation will cause an amount of radiation damage per second, -1% critical chance, -15% critical severity, and placate the target from you once up to every 15 seconds for a total of 5 seconds. Yes, all those things apply for 5 seconds. Thoron-infused Polaron energy types are obtainable for purchase from the Delta Alliance Reputation Store for Dilithium, and is occasionally obtainable from the Delta Alliance Command Equipment Requisition packs from the same reputation. And last for Polaron, we have Vodwar Polaron. This energy type, when fired, has a 2.5% chance to reduce an enemy's shield hardness by 10% versus energy weapons, and 50% by kinetic damage for 10 seconds. Vodwar Polaron weapons are obtainable via the exchange as well as special equipment packs from the Vodwar Lockbox. An interesting little fact about Vodwar Polaron weapons: upon its initial release, the energy type's chance rate was bugged, leaving it with a 99% chance to proc, making it a highly used type at the time. This, however, was obviously fixed 1 week after the next patch. So now that we're done with all 6 base energy types and their hybrids and subtypes combined, there are, however, just a few select weapons and energy types that fall under no category that I feel should be mentioned. First, we have Proton. Proton energy weapons are extremely unique, so much so that there are only 2 in the game at all, that being the experimental proton weapon and the Solanae dual heavy proton cannons. Proton energy, when fired, works like how I mentioned the secondary proc of Protonic Polaron works before, that being on a critical strike there is a chance to inflict proton damage on an enemy ignoring shields. This damage is doubled against Voth enemies. Currently, there are no energy weapon consoles specifically designed to enhance proton energy alone, unlike all other types. There are, however, a few consoles that do increase proton damage as a side bonus, available from the Dyson Joint Command Reputation stores. Proton energy weapons are available from both the Dyson Joint Command Reputation and from the variants of the Dyson Science Destroyer or Advanced Science Destroyers. Next we have Kinetic. This energy type once again falls under no category, as it has no energy weapon consoles that boost it specifically. Even directed energy distribution manifold consoles don't boost it. Now, I'm not saying there are no ways it can be boosted, but not just by any direct means. Kinetic energy when fired does exactly the same as kinetic damage through most torpedoes. Previously, kinetic energy also affected crew vitality. However, with the recent skill change in Season 11.5, this feature has been removed. Currently, kinetic energy is only available for use via the kinetic cutting beam from the Task Force Omega reputation system. And lastly, we have crystalline energy. Now, some of you may be thinking that this shouldn't even be mentioned because it's a torpedo, and while I completely agree to a point, I do feel it appropriate to include because this weapon, while a torpedo, is in fact directly upgraded when using appropriate energy weapon boosting consoles such as antiproton mag regulators. As with basic antiproton before, crystalline energy has a higher critical chance and severity innate as its ability. While the crystalline energy torpedo does share similar traits as basic antiproton, I'm counting it as an unspecified energy type due to the weapon type it comes in, that being a torpedo. This special weapon was only available as an event reward during the Crystalline Entity event through a special event reputation project once available from March 5th to March 26, 2015, and is sadly no longer available. And that's it! That covers every single 49 different energy types, basic, subtypes, hybrids, and unique currently available in Star Trek Online as the time this video was made. As I mentioned at the start of this video, this list of energy types and weapons will no doubt grow even bigger as time goes on. I hope I was able to share something with you today that perhaps you might not have known before. If I neglected to mention any energy types not listed in the video, feel free to let me know in the comments below. I'd love to know what energy type is your favorite too. Thank you everyone for watching and for your continued support of this channel, and I will see you all in the next video.